Hi, my name is Vickrey, and this is my senior digital story. I was born in Charlotte, North Carolina, but raised hiking the Blue Ridge Mountains in a small college town called Boone. I loved being outside in any way as a kid, and so in my freshman year of high school, I joined a club known as Mountain Alliance, which organized free outdoor adventure and community service trips for students. The first trip I signed up for was a 4-day backpacking excursion in the Virginia Highlands. I spent a lot of time after school bouldering, kayaking, even caving once where I learned I was claustrophobic. I had some experience with community service before joining this organization. I was in the Scouts when I was younger, and I had spent some of the previous summer in Peru, helping to build a community center with my grandmother. But I hadn't explored community service in depth until Mountain Alliance. They organized monthly volunteer visits to the county's only homeless shelter, we planted trees to help with stream bank restoration, and waded through rivers to collect trash. One summer I was lucky enough to go out west and work in Arches National Park, trail building and chasing tumbleweeds. Sewanee stood out the most to me among the schools I applied to because it felt like a home away from home. The mountains, forests, and close-knit community were all very appealing, and I helped that they had a great environmental program too. I knew that I wanted to continue service work in some capacity after getting so much enjoyment from it during high school, so when I heard about the Bonner program, I quickly applied and crossed my fingers, hoping for the best. I worked at 3 sites my freshman fall semester: the University Farm, the Lone Rock Stockade Archival Project, and finally the hospitality shop. I enjoyed getting to have different work experiences at each of them. At the farm, I was literally working with my hands in the dirt. At Lone Rock, I analyzed historical documents from the Tennessee State Archives. And at the hospitality shop, I was getting to help community members find the supplies they needed. In October of my freshman fall semester, the previous site leader at the hospitality shop quit. I stepped in as site leader with honestly not that much leadership experience to begin with, nor a plan for moving forward, but I insisted on learning. Rather than viewing it as a challenge, I tried to approach this new role as an opportunity, as something I would benefit from, not something to be scared of, although I was admittedly a little scared in the beginning. I knew I could rely on the people in my program and my site supervisors when necessary too. I didn't notice changes in how the site operated immediately. I think often the work we do doesn't have quick results, but instead through dedicating time and energy into a space we see how it pays off in the long run. The site has changed significantly from when I first started working there. After building shelving units in the attic and redoing the back room, we can sort donations much more efficiently now. I organized Greek Life volunteer days, which benefited both the shop and organizations on campus looking to get community service hours. And we eventually got a card reader, which ended up doubling our profits in the past year. Being able to take on the site leader role at the hospitality shop gave me the confidence to pursue more opportunities during my time at Sewanee, opportunities that I was initially hesitant about. I was encouraged to do so, seeing how other Bonners were so involved on campus. They inspired me to do the same. That following fall semester, I lived in the Queer and Ally House and ended up rushing a fraternity, something I had been too scared to do as a freshman. I became their community service chair as well, which allowed me to continue doing service in spaces outside of Bonner. Because of my involvement with Q&A, I was asked to speak on a couple panels about the queer experience at Sewanee and what it's like to be gender nonconforming in spaces like Greek Life, which I was really honored to do. All this is to say, I credit these incredible moments I've had during my time at Sewanee to my freshman fall semester. Being presented with an opportunity to lead and take on more responsibilities was the first step in my journey as a Bonner, but also as a student finding their place here in Sewanee. I feel much more connected to the Sewanee community because of my time working at the shop. Regular faces became familiar, I learned about community members' lives outside of the university bubble. I watched their kids get a bit older, I heard baby announcements, and I noticed when some regular customers never came back. People come and go from the shop all the time, but staying in place for a while helps you see just how valued the space is. My time here at Sewanee has been shorter than I first thought when I arrived on campus as a very nervous freshman. The Bonner program introduced me to some of my closest friends and gave me an immediate community I felt welcomed in, a community where I could thrive. I've since been back in Boone where my service journey started. This fall I'm going to law school at the University of Tennessee to study environmental law, and I hope to continue being involved with public service throughout my career. It can be scary, stepping into something you might not be prepared for. I came to Sewanee with the unconscious expectation that I was incapable of doing things I felt were beyond me. I didn't necessarily see myself as someone who took challenges head-on, or as someone who could pursue everything they wanted to do. I felt limited in my identity, in my strengths, and possibilities for the future. Sometimes it takes being pushed into that first step to realize that the right path will lay itself down in front of you. You just have to trust in yourself and your abilities in order to stay on it. Thank you to my friends in this space. Thank you to anyone who's ever sorted a countless number of donations with me. Thank you to the volunteers at the shop for your endless support. Thank you to Robin and Morgan for your kindness and leadership. And finally, thank you all for giving me the opportunity to believe in myself.